Shall I do it here? I'll pin, let me turn that round. No, not that one. Oh my God. I don't really want to do that. Hi guys, welcome back to MK Sportscars. We're here with a RX chassis, and what I'm going to just do is take you through a short video and a few questions. Build manual works really well, but to talk about brake lines, fuel lines, pedal box fitment. So I thought it'd be easier to sort of show you, get some film and video footage of where the lines go through, where the fixing points are, just a little bit more detail to help you guys that are on the home builds. Try and do as much detail as you can in the manual, but a picture can only tell so much detail. So we're going to start at the very front. We're going to move to the front of the vehicle and we're going to look at this. Now, we do offer the option here to fit these for you at the factory, or you can fit them at home. There is a service charge. If you want us to do it, we can do it. Not a problem, to IVA spec for you. Now, what we have at the front here, these are a copper-based fuel line, brake line even, that we've got in here. We have a brake tee. Now, they are different on different chassis. There's various positions for these, but depending on the engine configuration. This is for a Mazda base, which is where we have it offset, because you have the pulley here. On the Cup cars where we have a bike engine, we put it in the centre. We can leave it there. So we're making the line, following the route up and inside, same as here, up and fixing and over. Now, making sure that when you've got fixing points, we've got to make sure that there's sort of a decent gap between them. Like if you come around here, we've got a second fixing point here. Just got to finish off. We're doing these as we speak. So we've got a fixing point. We've got to make sure that the line is stable and not moving, and it's nice and secure. Like in here, we do a double P-clip to make sure the line isn't secure or moving in any way, not rubbing against the chassis. You can't have these rubbing. So if it rubs like this one, which got to put the second fixing in here, then you've got to put a fixing in to make sure it doesn't abrasive against the chassis. This will come out and it come through a little welded in tab section here, which is for your braided hose that goes to your brake line. So that'll be the final one there. Then coming through, this is left-hand drive, so it's slightly different. And we've got the line coming out and following the route, but it does it on the other side all the way through and up and then round into your T. And it's the same each side of the vehicle. It will just follow the opposite route if it's a right-hand drive with a shorter run. And then always when you put the pedal box in here, make sure you put the throttle cable assembly in. It's just a lot easier to do that now for you. And we also put in this line which goes to the rear. So the rear one's coming up, down and follows along through the centre of the vehicle. Dips over the chassis rail here and then under the gearbox mount, which I know is hard for you to see, but we're trying to give you some idea. Down under the gearbox mount, fixing point, following it along here, two fixing points, and then coming along. This can be on the opposite side if it's right-hand drive. Obviously, it will come up the other way, but it's exactly the same description. Coming round, down and under, and again, making sure fixing points so it's nice and sturdy in location, and then coming up to your T-piece, which is mounted in the back. Now this is already welded in for you in this position, so it's pretty obvious where you've got to put your T-piece. Then you have your two lines coming out for your left-hand, right-hand caliper, which come out to a fixing point here. This is already welded in to your chassis, so it's pretty obvious where it goes to, and you can fix that in, making sure you've got a fixing point here, nice and sturdy, not touching any chassis. Brake line's going to not abrasive against the chassis, and your braided line out to your caliper. Now, that's pretty much your brake lines in. They're pretty easy to manipulate with your hands and fingers if it's warm, but you can buy special tools if you want to bend curves and everything else in them as well. It's not a problem. Fuel lines on the Mazda base kits, we have two fuel lines. If you're running a Mark II, you need 2 fuel lines. A Mark 2.5 only needs 1 because it's got the fuel return in the fuel tank on the pump, whereas this has 2. So you're going to need 2 in this position here that come out to the fuel rail. You're running them along, again, making sure you're under 300. Now, if you can put your hands like this, I know hands are different size, but if you can be in this position where each of them are within that field of your hand to finger, under 300 mil, each P fixing. If you double P click them like this, it just gives you a nice fit finish, nice and secure, 1 rivet holding it in each location. Right the way through, following it down the centre tunnel. This doesn't make no difference for left-hand drive or right-hand drive. It's both on the same side, under where the handbrake mount is, and then it'll come up to the rear here. Now on the rear, this is already in because you'll have your fuel filter here, and you'll have a short joint of rubber hose, and then you'll have this one here, which will come up, and your rubber hose will go to your fuel tank. This one here goes into fuel filter. So you've got to make sure one comes up and one comes out to the side. Now, it's pretty simple. Again, it's a copper-based tube, so it's pretty easy to manipulate with your hand and fingers. But again, you can buy specialist tools if you want to straighten or move or bend the pipes in any way, especially with the intricate shapes that you have at the front here. Must make sure that you don't kink them in any way. So you want a nice radius on them. You don't want to do it too tight because it could kink it, and then that would just cause you some issues with your braking. Now into the pedal box, we go into that area. Pedal box, even though it's your left-hand drive, same principle applies. Setting this up, you've got your clutch, you've got your brake and accelerator. There is a throttle stop you want to put in just here. I'd suggest we can take that out, but there's a throttle stop that goes in here, a 60mm bolt. Put that in sooner rather than later. And then the bias bar, once you've got that in here, you can set that wherever you want for now, temporarily, until you went your gauge. But you've got 2 locking nuts that go in here. They're 7/16 U and F. You must make sure they're on it, unless it's for race application. But for road application, you do need these locked into place once you've set your bias. That's a IVA standard in the UK anyway. But in the US and other places, it's different. But in the UK, you must make sure they're in. So that gives you, hopefully, I'm going to let Finn do a little bit of B-roll to give you some close-ups of some of these that's in there for you and show you how the brake lines, fuel lines. If you've got any questions on that, just drop them down below or fire us in an email and we can update the manuals and help you in any way. But if you want the fitting service done on your kits, we can offer that to you as well. But if you feel like you've got the tools, you want the skills, or you want to build your kit completely from scratch, then obviously we supply it to you, you can build it at home. That's it for this week. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video.